Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
Wondering why you're up early with us on a Sunday morning making a cocktail? News lately got you drinking? Hung over from the mainstream media by Sunday? We are, and we got you covered.
We sure do. We got your hangover cure for those weekly news blues. So sit back, top off your mimosa, and add some Baileys to that coffee.
Take a match to your copy of the New York Times. Light, funny, and oh yeah, news with booze.
And a lot of laughter.
Welcome to Bloody Marys and Broadsheets.
Abolish the IRS. Take all 125,000 IRS agents and put them on our southern border.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. Both ends of the ozone burning. Funny how the world keeps turning. Look, Mom, no hands. I love this American ride. Gotta love this American ride.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you've got a business, you didn't build that.
The feeling most people get when they hear a Barack Obama speech, I felt this thrill going up my leg. I mean, I don't have that too often.
Steady.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. Ricky Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, will tackle the important issues facing America today as he tries to keep America from coming off the track. Get ready to hear the truth every Monday through Friday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, and on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern and 11 Central here on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network.
And we're back. We got kicked off the air again. We don't really know what's going on, but we don't care because we're going to keep rolling, and we're going to keep rolling until 5.
You're just going to keep making me listen to Barack Obama clips and the Hillary Clinton clips.
No, absolutely not. We're back on the air, and we're good to go.
Again, I want to reiterate, this is the most hazardous time for America in our entire history. If we, the people, don't seize the unbridled, this lawless, unconstitutional power away from Barack Hussein Obama or any other communist Democrat who might occupy the White House as our president, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, our nation will collapse and be dismantled and destroyed forever. Now, a little bit more than 71 years ago, we had D-Day, where the United States, landed at Normandy, I think it was June 6, 1944. All true patriotic Americans were, I'm talking about past, present, and future, were at that Normandy beach and all the other beaches, Omaha, that we actually landed in France, June 6, 1944. I do not believe for 1 second that those brave men and women who actually were involved in the World War II as well, but those brave men who stormed the beaches of France to bring an end to World War II, and they willingly sacrificed their lives for what? For our liberty, for American liberty. They didn't do so. They didn't do this so that a man like Barack Obama would be put into the White House by ignorant, parasitic loser voters who do not understand the danger involved in trading their sovereignty and their freedom for some temporary material security. remember, and Reagan, you're one of your favorite presidents, Reagan said that American liberty is always just one generation away from extinction. And what I always teach is there can be no patriotism in this country without liberty. There can be no liberty without virtue, and no virtue without true citizens. And that's the absolute truth. Now, talking about the American presidency and the paradoxes, I said that it is unique and potentially dangerous. Yet beyond this sort of consensus that this office of the presidency is unique and necessary and potentially dangerous or harmful, the chief executive of the American country remains sort of a challenging institution to fully understand, partly because of our need for executive power, like they mentioned in the Federal 70, and partly because of our twin fear of tyranny, because of what happened with King George III. Also because we don't fully understand enumerated powers versus inherent powers. Most of the people, Lou, think that the President of the United States can do anything, and nothing can be further from the truth. The President is part of a system of not only separated powers, but I like to term it as shared powers. We have separate institutions that are sharing powers together. And that's exactly what we have in our construct, our design for American constitutional republic. Now, the ambiguity of the first sentence of Article 2 of the Constitution, which deals with the presidency, the ambiguity of that first sentence in Article 2 has led to three widely divergent constructs or theories of presidential power. Let me read to you the first sentence of Article 2. Here it is. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. That's it. That's all it says. So that doesn't really give you much delineation, does it? The founding fathers knew that they couldn't give this office too much inherent power for fear that they wouldn't be able to get the Constitution through and ratified. But they had to try to give it enough power that it could be strong and have energy in government. And I fully believe they envisioned that it would grow through the different occupants in the White House to become a more powerful institution as it matured. To me, that was brilliant, and it has indeed done that. Now, the three different divergent theories of presidential power that most analysts use when they look at presidential theory is one called the constitutional theory, one called the stewardship theory, and then the last one is the prerogative theory, and this is all of presidential power. People that believe in the constitutional theory argue this: presidential power is strictly limited to those enumerated powers. According to this theory, constitutional theory, presidents, chief executives, have only those powers that are either enumerated, actually been written down in the Constitution, or granted to the office by Congress under its constitutional authority. A president that believed in the constitutional theory was William Howard Taft. Now, in contrast to this, the stewardship theory holds that the president can do anything that is not explicitly forbidden in the Constitution or by the laws that are passed by Congress under its constitutional authority. Teddy Roosevelt believed in the stewardship theory. The way that I explain this to my students when we go into discussion on this particular point is I try to tell them the difference between naval aviators, tactical naval aviators, and my brother Air Force pilots, who I call Brand B. I love them to death. Naval aviators versus Air Force pilots. Here's the difference, and I train them every week. The Air Force pilots, Lou, have a book for their airplane. In that book, it tells them exactly what they can do and can't do with that airplane. If it ain't written in that book, Lou, they can't do it. Naval aviators are different. We have a book for our airplane, and then buried somewhere in about the 8th chapter, it says, here's the 3 things you can't do with this particular airplane. So by proxy, naval aviators can do everything else with that airplane that we want to do, because we are trained that way to be individuals. We are trained to wage nuclear war by ourselves in our airplane individually against the enemy without any help from anybody else. That's how we're trained. Do you see the difference between the constitutional authority and the stewardship authority, stewardship theory? If it's not written, you can't do it.
Absolutely.
Okay? If it's not written saying I can't do it, a naval aviator says, hey, I can do it. And that's exactly how Teddy Roosevelt expanded the authority of the chief executive. John Locke, your hero, I always like to mention John Locke because he's one of your heroes.
Yes.
John Locke defined the concept of prerogative power in his second treatise on government. This is how he defined it. The power to act according to discretion for the public good without the prescription of the law, and sometimes even against the law, if it was for the public good. So the prerogative theory not only allows chief executives to do anything that they are not forbidden to do, but also allows them to do the things that they are explicitly forbidden when it is in the national interest to do so. Abraham Lincoln did this when he mined the southern ports, when he suspended the writ of habeas corpus. He did this to protect national security. And he's one of my greatest presidents because he kept the nation together. So that would be the prerogative theory of presidential power. Your chief executive right now is using a prerogative theory, but he goes against the law every week, probably every day in that White House, but he is not, listen to me listeners, he is not acting with discretion and going against the law of the land for the public good. He is acting directly against the public good because he wants to destroy the United States of America. That's exactly what's happening right now, wench.
That's right. It is. Undermining a lot of our rights, undermining our Constitution as a whole. It's not a good precedent to set. And it's really crazy that it seems that every other branch of government, particularly during this presidency, has ceded whatever power they did have, still, whatever they had left, they've ceded to the presidency, to the executive during this presidency. And it's weird.
Now, again, we mentioned this, that the Founding Fathers purposely limited the president's powers. Article 2 is the shortest section of the Constitution, and they did this to get the Constitution ratified, and with the hopes that the different occupants, they knew that Washington was going to be the first president for as long as he wanted to stay. And you mentioned he's the one that started term limits by saying 8 years is enough, pick somebody else. And that's the way it was invented and designed. Our government was designed that way. Back in 1787, and when they created stuff, it was designed for somebody to come in on a short-term basis, do their public service for the country, and then go back home to their farm and raise their family. They did their service, they go back and let somebody else come in. That's exactly the way it was designed. It wasn't designed to keep a knucklehead like Harry Reid or Pelosi in there for 40 years. McCain's been in there for 30 years. Bless his heart, I love him. He's my brother, naval aviator. He's been there too long, Lou. I hope Dr. Ward beats his ass and kicks him out of Congress. He needs to go away.
Well, we need Dr. Ward in the Senate anyway, just because She is so smart, and she is...
Is she as smart as me?
Wow. She's a woman, so she's automatically smarter than you.
I didn't say Dr. A just because Miss Stacy will pinch my face together if I say that ever again.
She will. She'll tell you you're Bob Doling yourself. But Dr. Ward is a woman. She likes for you to call her Kelly. Kelly is a woman, so that automatically makes her smarter than...
Yeah, we need to have her on the show and let me interview her.
She'd probably
love her. Well, I'll get the real information out of her. You book her on this show, and I'll interview her like she's never been interviewed by Jared Day or you or anybody else. I'll make sure she tells the truth. Get her on the show.
Well, Kelly Ward, I think, always tells the truth. I think she's a very honest woman, but she'd probably love to be on this show. But if you want me to ask her, you have to promise to be nice to her.
Have I ever been not nice to anybody that tells the truth? I only get dramatic when it's required.
I don't think I've ever heard you. When people are
trying to destroy this country. Is she trying to destroy the United States? No, she's trying to get rid of John McCain and retire him. Bless your heart. You've had a great run. It's time to leave. Go back to your horse farm in Arizona and put somebody in there that now is fresh, got a great heart. Got great conservative ideas. He's got a lot of intellect. Let's put her in there.
That's right.
And let her do it.
That's right.
Get her on the show. I'll interview her and I'll
since we're pinching conservative candidates, she's like J.D. Winterick in Ohio. They're both very. They love our Constitution and they want to protect it, and that's the kind of people that we need in office.
You know what's interesting about that in Ohio, that district? I wonder who the Republicans are going to put up against him. And who the Democrats are going to run against?
Everybody is.
Right.
Yeah, everybody is.
Not yet.
Everybody's wondering. Yeah. That's a big...
We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, let's get back to the presidency, because it defies a simplistic explanation. The presidency, again, I've characterized it as a contradictory office. We talked about the paradox. We'll get to that. But it is a dynamic construct. It is variable. And again, it doesn't have a precise constitutional outline or delineation of its powers, and therefore it can be ever-changing, ever-elastic. Several different chief executives at different times and different histories. Again, you got to look at things through the prism or the perspective of historical context, political context. Several different people have sort of molded the office to the national needs that existed at the time, or to suit their own needs that they had. Other specific times, the office, again, in a system of separated and yet shared powers, the office tends to constrain a president and limit his power, as it should. We created this country based on liberty, based on freedom of the individual, maximum freedom and liberty for the individual. This kind of government never existed before. But it is, to me, it is the natural, God-given offshoot of what we were given by the Almighty God, to have liberty, to have free will, and yet have some modicum of control, which we have to have, to keep the country going forward. Okay? So limited powers is what we base our constitutional republic on. So what I talk about the presidency as a paradox. What is a paradox? A paradox is something that is said or done like a statement that is contradictory, or the opposite of common sense, and yet it's true. Scholars throughout history have used the term paradox in sort of a general sense when they discuss the American presidency. I just said that to start the show, and that's why we're here for this sort of, this might take a couple of shows to finish, Lou. Is that okay?
Oh, we had planned on a series. We're not in a hurry.
Okay. Do you think JD and Miss Stacy listen to anything I say? Because I'm hoping they do. I really want to.
I think probably they listen more than you think they do. But you're talking about a couple of really smart people, and people that smart that are already that smart. Yeah, they're not really our target here. They already know most of what you're already.
I don't know. I was a target of Stacey, but they're in Atlanta. Maybe I should make her a target. No, she's got enough people after her as it is.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know what? I never had a Twitter troll. Now I have several until I met her. Thanks a lot.
Well, yeah, you know, that's what happens sometimes. But hey, I mean, you know, Twitter's an open forum.
Parody accounts.
Yeah.
Okay,
hey,
so
you did that on your own. We didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, well, sometimes it hurts, but I have to just buck up and show my naval aviator wings and just let them say what they want to say.
Right, because I'm sure that nobody on, you know, the ship, all the carriers that you spent time on ever said anything anywhere near that hurtful to you,
you can't even imagine the way naval aviators talk to each other. Trust me in this. Read my book, Kerosene Cowboys. You'll find out how we talk to each other. It is extremely unflattering.
Why do you think I said that?
We put each other's lives into each other's hands and trust each other like you can't imagine. So that's I come from that. I'll never leave that genre. I am a tactical naval aviator for life, and that's the way I approach everything I do. Now back to the clashing or contradictory notions of the presidency, and actually what a leader should be. Let's talk about a more profound definition of a paradox. Okay, just listen to this. A logical paradox consists of two contrary, or even contradictory propositions to which we are led by apparently sound arguments. The arguments are sound because when used in other contexts, they do not seem to invite us to any difficulties. It is only in the particular combination in which the paradox occurs that the arguments lead us to sort of a troublesome conclusion. In its most extreme form, a paradox consists in the apparent equivalence of two propositions, one of which is the negative of the other. Now, in many ways, Lou, paradoxes define leadership. Paradoxes define the office of the presidency. And it is the paradoxical nature of that institution that makes a search for a sort of a unified theory so elusive to the so-called scholars and political scientists out there. There's really no one unified theory that can explain the American presidency. That's why there's so many of them out there.
Hey, you know, I have another surprise for you.
Contradictions, Lou.
I have another surprise for you.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have one of our favorite presidents here. I have a clip from to take us into the
would it be the actor president?
Yeah, it would be, and it's kind of a long clip, but it shows.
I want to hear it.
It shows the paradox that you're talking about, what the different people that a president has to be at different times. I hope I cut it right, and it's not messed up. So just be patient with this clip.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Tries to get the other candidates to leave. They don't. The fireworks begin.
If we may have the first question. For the question, you asked me if you could make an announcement first. And I asked you permission to make an announcement myself. Would the sound man please turn Mr. Reagan's mic off for a minute? Is this on? Mr. Green, did you turn that microphone off? You asked for me if you would... I am paying for this.